Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 2 of my Thorpe Park recreation. So if you did catch episode 1, then you would have seen we built this area, the first area of the park, being the big obvious dome that everybody knows from Thorpe Park and some of the flat rides in and around it. Today is a very special episode because we do have a special guest which will be announced in a few moments. But without further ado, let's jump in and see what I've done in this episode. Okay guys, so we're in, and as mentioned before, we do have a special guest appearance today. So welcome Tommy CM. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Excellent, thank you very much. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So I'm thinking about maybe doing this in a few of the episodes throughout this series, in getting in a surprise special guest. Preferably people that have been to Thorpe Park, because obviously if you haven't been to Thorpe Park you probably won't recognise anything that I build. Speaking of which, I think I showed Matty a screenshot of something that I built, and he was like, well, it looks good, but I can't tell you if it looks the same because I've never been to Thorpe Park. So yeah, it does help when the people that are here have actually been. So thanks for joining me. And let's get into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, okay, so I'm going to go with I'm not going to go in flip cam, I'm going to stay in this free cam sort of mode. But this is where we left off in the last episode. So I built Colossus in this area and continued building down here.
I'm excited to see down here because I know what's down here. Like, in my mind, I know what is coming down here.
Yeah, and I mean, you can already see in the distance what we're looking towards. But yeah, to be honest with you, this is quite tricky for me. And the reason being is because I never, all the times I've been to Thorpe Park, I've never actually walked down here. Like down this bit. I've always gone round the other way or past Colossus. I've never actually been down this bit. But this is the first part we're going to look at. And this bit, there's so many different types of fence down here. It's so strange. But looking at, obviously I've taken the images from Google Maps and things like that and tried to replicate the fencing and stuff that they've put, and so it looks a bit funky, but if you look at Google Maps it's pretty spot on. But yeah, so if we walk down here and we turn to our left, we've got the Saw Alive maze.
Did you ever go on that bit? You know before it came, because it's only open for Halloween now, isn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit of a wimp when it comes to these mazes. And so I've actually never been in the Saw Alive maze.
So I went on that when that very first opened, and it had an age rating on it. You had to be, I think it was either you had to be 15. There was a certain age because of how terrifying it was inside, and they were like pumping horrible smells in. And we basically went in and you went round in like groups of 10, and they basically said, put your hands on the person in front shoulders, the actors won't touch you, they'll just get very close. So you just go and walking around and they're just like they're pulling on chains and stuff, and there's drills going off and chainsaws, and it's honestly it's terrifying, but it was so well done. But I think it just cost them a lot to do all day. So
I can imagine, but yeah, no, I try and stay away from those. I'm one of those people that if I'm walking in a dark, scary space with lots of horrible noises and smells, if something touches me, I'm one of the people that flinches very dramatically, shall we say. So I try and stay away from those. But yeah, this building's not actually in use. It is just for show because, as I say, I've never been in Saw Alive, and so I don't even know what's in there. So it's just a case, really. It's just a building case, and just for show. Obviously with custom queue line as well.
I love the logo. The logo's great.
Yes, and onto that, I was going to show that in a bit more detail in a minute. Actually, let's go down here because you'll see why. So if we go down this path, we all know where that leads to. And again, I need to shout out the amazing Boz Midget Slayer, because look at that.
Honestly, it's genius. That is.
It's
How.
honestly, it's hard to find words to describe it, but it is ridiculous how good Boz Midget Slayer is at creating these signs, and not just signs. And I'll explain that a little bit more once we've been on the ride, and you'll see why when we get there. But again, I can't thank this guy enough. He's just amazing. So thanks again, Boz Midget Slayer, for your help. And the best thing is, I didn't even ask him to do this for me. He watched episode 1, and then he messaged me a couple of days later with this, and so I'm very very thankful, very thankful indeed for that.
I love the fact as well. Yeah, it's not, because it's supposed to be like the logo is supposed to be like dripping blood into it. It's not like a neat logo, if you get what I mean. It's quite a messy sort of logo, which makes it even more harder to do.
Exactly.
And it's just phenomenal.
Again, if you take a look at the image of this sign at Thorpe Park, it is literally identical. I mean, when Boz first sent it to me, I looked at it on Google, and it is identical. So I don't know how he does it, but I'm definitely going to ask him for some lessons. Yeah, and so then we come into the area where Saw, the ride, is. So what's your first impressions?
I mean, very good. So, I mean, for those who haven't been to Thorpe Park, it's kind of built in like an abandoned warehouse, isn't it? Obviously, you've got the police car, etc. there, but it's supposedly built inside like an abandoned warehouse, and that's where Jigsaw and all his traps are, and you've really got the industrial look, sort of nailed down with like the corrugated roofs and the panels, and then obviously the scaffolding there as well. It kind of all blends together well. What are those vents you've got spinning around there? What are those wheels that are spinning?
So I think they're just the hang on, iron wheel.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just
nice.
the iron wheel. I've put a few. Well, there's quite a few. I think there's about 20 pieces in all, just in one side of that. But yeah, I mean, if we've done a piece count, I've used a lot of pieces just for this whole area. There's probably 10,000 alone. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I have worked more on the exterior of this ride rather than the inside. Like the station and that, I've not themed all of that completely. I have worked on sort of the exterior. Obviously, that's what people would see as they're walking around. But yeah. Also, I should probably mention as well, and I should have probably mentioned this at the beginning, but I just want to apologise in advance if you do hear any loud bangs. At the time of recording this, it is the 5th of November. That's the Sky Fawkes night, and there are plenty of fireworks going off. So apologies in advance if you do hear any loud bangs. But back to the episode. So this thing was a bit of a nightmare because they've got that Saw store out here. It's literally like a what do you call it? Like a shipping container. So yeah, I mean, I should have probably put some barriers there to stop people walking through it, but yeah, I think that turned out quite well.
No, and to be fair, I know a lot of people don't realise you can do that with the screens and put the clothing. One of the options on console for the images on the screen is the clothing, and obviously if you're just doing a shop face or a shop window, it just makes it look a lot nicer and more realistic.
Exactly, and that was what I was going for there. I haven't actually decorated inside here, but we've got the photography and DVD, or the Photoshop for Saw. When you come out, let's take a walk through.
The Fast Pass logo you've got is absolutely brilliant as well. I know I said this to you, sent me a photo of it. Like that is pretty much the Fast Pass logo that Merlin use at their parks. So at Thorpe Park, and Alton Towers is the same logo. I think I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, that is I mean, it's very simple, but it looks so much like it with the way you've got the sort of triangle going off the top. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and again, I got the inspiration from Boz himself. Obviously, with that amazing sign that Boz made, I thought when I was looking at the Google images, I was looking around and I thought it'd be so good to be able to do that. And as you can see, I put together the sign, and it came out
Yeah,
pretty well. I'm quite chuffed with it.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
got these little lockers, which I never noticed until looking at Google Maps. There is a lot of things in Thorpe Park. I've been to Thorpe Park for most of my life. It's my local park, so I've been there like a million times. I think one year, me and my friends we must have gone about 28 times in the year, and I've never noticed these lockers here until building this. But I put them together, some custom lockers. Should we take a walk around the queue?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's got the main entrance, and again, I would have loved to have put some barbed wire on the top of this, but unfortunately, they haven't got any in the game, and there isn't
Yeah,
anything that I could find that would replicate it.
no, yeah, I don't think there is anything you can put up there. It's really really weird. I mean, it's not actual barbed wire in real life. It's like some
No, of
crushed.
course.
It looks more like aluminium, doesn't it? It's just some
Yeah,
crushed
but just
aluminium that they've got in sort of reels going around.
that's
But,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Now I
But,
think about it, you're right. Yeah, but I mean, I looked through the whole list. I literally
yeah.
went on to all items, and I went through every single item, and I just couldn't find anything that looked good enough to put up there. Otherwise, I would have.
Yeah.
But if you've been in the saw queue, you probably remember it slightly. Obviously, it's not perfect.
Oh, no, I love this custom fencing here. I mean, this isn't that's not just placing a fence panel, is it? You've put the
Yeah, no.
beams
So
as well as the fence panel, and
yeah,
then copying it along.
I think that's actually locomotive rail.
Is it?
But
Right.
yeah, locomotive rail. Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, locomotive rail wrapped around the chain link fence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, again, rather than just finding the closest fence panel to go into that effort as well is very impressive to get that as accurate as that.
ah, thank you. Oh, I didn't realise there was a tree in the pathway. My bad. Yeah, so the very recognisable little supply shop where you can get your drinks and snacks as you're walking around.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody use any of those shops in the queue lines. We seem to have them all throughout the parks in Britain. I've never seen
I have.
anybody. Have you?
I've got the odd drink. Well, it depends how short the queue is. If the queue is like a 40-minute wait, then I'll get myself a bottle of Coke or something. But yeah, if it's moving quite quickly, then I won't bother. But I have seen people use them.
Oh, fair enough. Been on different days to me.
Right, so I think what we'll do then is we'll take a quick ride on Saw the Ride.
Yes.
And that was Saw the Ride. So, Tommy, what do you think?
I loved it. I was I mean, I off the top of my head, even though I've been on Saw numerous times, once you've gone over the first drop, I can't actually remember off the top of my head the track layout. So going back on that was kind of like trying to reminisce. This is the last time I went on it, which would have been early on this year. But no, absolutely superb. I mean, the detailing as well. I love the blades on that drop. You can just see them to the right there. I think to the right of the warehouse. But yeah, the blades going around work really well. And then obviously you've got the indoor section is done really well as well. And I know it's very hard when the station starts off mid-air to try and replicate a layout and get it back to the same height. It's not as easy as it looks to get the coaster to sort of flow through freely. So yeah, no, really good job on that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And yeah, no, you're right. It is terrible in terms of this layout, as you say. I mean, I've been on this coaster numerous amount of times, but I had to look very thoroughly at YouTube POVs and Google Images to figure out the layout on this. I suppose the memorable part is this first drop under the saw and up and over, but after that, I can never remember what happened after that.
Yeah.
And obviously, you remember the indoor section,
Yes.
but that's about it. Yeah, so I mean, I'm quite happy with how this turned out, and as you all would have seen, which I'll just show again, Boz, I said before, he's not just great at making signs, he also, where is it gone? Hang on, I've lost it, and it's up
It's
here.
behind you, I think.
There we go. He also made this, which again is just fantastic. Look at that. I mean, compared to the dodgy little jigsaw on the little screen and the block breaks, that is absolutely masterclass. And I'll just show again the little dodgy one on the screen that I tried to make.
Honestly, I mean that's impressive enough. Like you even without the other one, you could tell that was jigsaw. Like you could tell by the cheeks that it was jigsaw. Honestly, that to try and fit that on one of those small screens. I mean, obviously people are going to bear in mind that this is console. We don't have custom images being able to import, etc. So we've got to make do with what we've got, and yeah, you're not going to get much better than that on that small scale.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. But to be honest, I wasn't going to keep that there because, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's terrible. But I thought, why not?
Yeah, no, by all means, keep that there. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that is Saw the Ride. I know it's taken me about a week and a half to do this, but as I said, there is a lot of pieces here, and I've had to do a lot, as you can see, a lot of custom fences and. Yeah, it's taken time, but I'm quite happy with it.
It's amazing how much longer recreations take, because it's not like if you're just building off your imagination, you kind of go, oh yeah, I'll do that here, do that there, and then you think, yeah, I'm done. But recreations, you're kind of looking at all photos and videos and thinking, oh, there's something there, there's this there, I need to put that in, etc. So
exactly.
That's what takes, and then it's not only that, you've got to find the piece that looks closest to that. Which takes the time as well. So yeah,
exactly. It's all about the fine details.
Exactly.
The fine details is what makes it stand out and what makes it recognisable, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just got a little backstage area there. I'm not actually sure what's behind there. I need to try and find some images. And now this is where Samurai would be. But there's no ride in here that I could sort of pass off as Samurai, except one, but it's quite big. So I'm debating what to do there. I might try and replicate it like I did with Quantum, but if not, I don't know, maybe I'll put up some boards and say under construction or something.
Yeah.
Be a little bit of a cheat.
I wasn't sure. They might be closing Samurai last time I looked. I think they were thinking of closing it anyway, in which case you can just leave the sign up there and have the overgrown trees and have it as like
Yeah,
a memorial.
that is a good point. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Um, but yeah, I mean that brings us to the end of the episode, pretty much. This is where I've got to at the moment. So I think the next episode will probably be. I do need to finish off the Colossus Q because that's not quite finished yet, and some more detailing inside. But the next episode will be, I think, The Walking Dead, the ride.
You know what? I've never been on that, so
I,
yeah.
the first time I went on it was when it just opened, and it terrified the crap out of me. And I'll tell you why, because they had live actors, and I never knew they had live actors. So we went on it, went round the roller coaster, and all that was fine. The little pre-show and everything was great. And then when we come off of the ride, that's where the actors were, and I pooped myself a little bit. But it was great fun. It was a great ride. But that will probably be the next episode. Along with probably finishing off the details for, I think it's called Storm Surge.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so finish off
To
this
me,
area.
this has to be the most random ride to put in a theme park.
I know.
It's more. I know. Obviously, you've got the River Rapids there. You've made it look really like it there, but it's not actually a River Rapids type boat, is it? It's more like an inflatable, like rubber dinghy boat that you kind of get around in a group.
That's it. It is practically a water slide in a rubber dinghy. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we don't have anything like that on here, so I just
Yeah,
tried to
but
use what I could.
you just go down it fully clothed and in the middle of the day and in the middle of a theme park. Honestly, I just don't understand why that's in Thorpe Park, but yeah,
I know. I think they just had a
me.
space. They didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I think that's where that is located. I think that used to be the kids area, didn't it? They used to have all the little kids rides there years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they got rid of that and just thought, we've got a big space here. What do we do with it?
Yeah. I have to say, I love the terrain and pathway you've done around Colossus, because that is not easy to do.
Oh,
to get that layout.
Was an absolute nightmare, I tell you. But yeah, thanks for joining me today, Tommy. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, brilliant. So thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And thanks everyone for watching. Bye guys.